So today's topic is mindfulness in everyday life. And I find it really funny that this is something that I've learned to do because years ago, I remember going to a contemplative prayer group with my parents. And I remember sitting there in silence for what seemed like an hour, and I opened my eyes and I snuck a look at my watch. It had been 30 seconds. And I was like, holy crap, how am I going to make it through this hour or however long the session was? I think it was an hour. And I did not know how my parents could do this special kind of torture. But I also had this vision of like meditation as you're sitting there, Indian style. That is a form of meditation. But it's not the only way to meditate. I have learned that mindfulness and meditation, there are so many ways in which you can do it. And anyone can do it. And it is so important because stress is one of the biggest triggers in causing chronic illnesses and causing relapses in chronic illnesses. It's a really important thing if you're going to have good health is that you learn how to manage your stress. And mindfulness and meditation is one of the key components of things you can do. And it doesn't cost anything. Well, it can, but generally it doesn't. So one of the ways that I do mindfulness and meditation is I will go for a walk and I will put my phone away and I will just really be present in the moment. And sometimes I'll walk for a bit and I'll be like, okay, so let's, for the next wee while, I don't put time limits on it. Let's just really focus on all the sounds you hear. And then for that little while, I'm really in tune to what sounds I'm hearing. And then the next little bit, I'm like, let's focus on what smells I'm smelling. You might want to do this if you're in a pleasant place. But then it's surprising. Like you'll walk past and you're like, oh my goodness, these lilacs are spectacular. Oh my gosh, the fresh cut grass, the dew in the air, it's amazing. These are all things that as you're just walking along, you may not even notice. And then I'll think about what am I hearing? I'm hearing the rustling of the leaves, and you might even hear a car's going by. But these are all things you hear, and an airplane going by, the laughter of children. It doesn't really matter what it is, but it's just like you're focusing on it and just being present in the moment. And if it's okay if at points when you're doing your mindfulness and meditation, if a thought crosses your brain, it doesn't mean that, oh gosh, I screwed up, I can't do mindfulness and meditation. I thought about something okay. So what I do when a thought comes into my brain is I then go, okay, let it go. And then I go back to thinking about nothing and just thinking about oh, look at that leaf. Oh, look at that. Be in the moment. Do you hear that sound? Do you taste anything? Just really incorporating all my senses. I love a sensory integration mindfulness thing. The other thing I really enjoy doing is I enjoy yoga. I am a very inflexible person. And I try to do yoga a lot. I was very consistent on it, I'll be honest. I did a challenge and I accidentally missed a day, and then I've kind of fallen off the bandwagon, so I do it a few times a week right now instead of daily. But what I really love about yoga is it lengthens your muscles, strengthens your core, and you're in the moment and you're doing it. And I find because you're just so present and you're focused on the feeling, the sensations in your muscle and getting the muscles in the exact right place, you're not worrying about, so what am I going to do after I finish yoga? No, you're worrying about the moment. And I shouldn't use the word worry. You're just being present in the moment. And the other thing about mindfulness is you can start off with doing it for 30 seconds. You still will reap benefits because our brain just needs a break from the constant thinking and worrying. And so that's another thing, and the thing about mindfulness is you don't think about how many different ways one can be mindful. So one of the reasons I really enjoy paddling, well, I love paddling and I'm on a dragon boat team, but something I realized that after practice, I'm always so much more relaxed, not just because of the physical exercise, but I'm also more relaxed because it provides me the mental meditation that is so incredibly beneficial. So when one's paddling, I'm, doing my strokes, keeping beat with all the other paddlers. And as I'm doing it, I can't think about what I'm doing after practice. I can only think about, okay, correct form, is my timing good? I'm fully present. And for someone like me who's easily distracted, it is incredibly useful to have an activity that you're getting physical exercise and you're fully present. And what's really fantastic is my practices are usually an hour to an hour and a half long. And so that is a lot of intense time of being very present and in the moment. And it's fantastic exercise. So if you haven't ever thought about doing dragon boating, highly recommend it. I also used to do outrigger canoes, same benefit. I actually find this also to be true when I'm riding my bike, because I have to be focusing on where I'm going, and I do look at the environment, but I'm also just thinking about how happy I am. I can think a little bit more when I'm riding my bike, but I find I get a lot of that benefit. So for me, I find this is a very unconventional view of getting mindfulness and meditation in. I also really love the guided meditations. I got really into them by listening to Chopra's mindfulness meditations, and I would lie there and just listen to them and close my eyes and just be present. And they range in lengths from 5 minutes to 15. I think they might even have some 30-minute ones. I haven't been doing that kind of meditation for a while, but truly fantastic. And the great thing about meditation is it doesn't matter how you do it, just do it. So I'd recommend starting to incorporating meditation into your life, because the more you do it, the easier it gets to do and the longer you're able to do it. And it is so effective at making you a happier person and a more resilient person. So when stress hits you, it can just so go ahead, think about what's a good way to meditate, and do some. Bye.